Hey everybody, it's TBC here. Well, we're finally here, we're finally at the video where I conclude my Ranger's journey to level 50. Now, if you remember the last video, we'd gone from level 28 all the way to 42 in Lower Gog, and I was totally gucked out. I was done, I'd had enough, I wanted something new, and this is what we're going to see in this video, where I end up on my quest to level 50. But before we get into it, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the channel members. I really appreciate your support. It's very much appreciated. Anybody else, if you want to become a channel member, you can hit the button down below and see the benefits. Otherwise, always very much appreciate those likes and subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you so much anyone who takes the time to do that. Now for this video, you'll see that I actually end up in some places I've never been to before, and maybe I'll get a special ding in one of those. It remains to be seen. You'll have to watch the video. But I was fortunate enough that the hole was opened up. You know, it was day 3 I think on the server, and the hole had been opened, so that opens up probably the best leveling zone for the 40s. If you're fast off the gate and you're trying to get there before the hole, oh, it's a slog. You're either stuck with Guck, you're either stuck in Sol B, or you're going to the ocean of tears, and oh, it's a lot slower than the hole. Let me tell you that. But before we get too far down the road, let's get right on into the video. Well, we end up in one of my favourite camps to come to actually in Classic, and that is the Bat and Bug camp in Sol B. Now, it's past the kobolds, and you kind of go past a big crushing block that doesn't really do anything. First left, and then I think it's the first right, and you end up in the camp, if memory serves, where everybody likes to hang out in this corner of this corridor. The reason why we like it, because there's only one roamer that paths through here. And just like the camp is called, you are going to be mainly fighting bats and mainly fighting lots of bugs or spiders. And these LDCs, the lava duck crawls, can really pump out some damage. Oh, they can hurt like really bad. And being a ranger, brand new on a server with no gear, yeah, I'm taking quite a lot of hits. But I really like this camp. I think it is really good XP. The pulls are short, which is what you want. There's not too many overwhelming pulls. I think the most you can get off a single pull here is 3. So it's pretty good going. Now, loot wise, okay, other than like a green silk and drape, there's not a whole lot that kind of drops unless you're after some spider silk. You'll get a lot of that. But outside of that, you're going to be mainly looking elsewhere. Now, I like to come to this camp quite a lot with boxes, like we've got casters, some like magicians, wizard in a box group. But this is a zone that I like to come back to a little bit, but there is one problem with it, and that's this guy, the stone spider. Oh, the stone spider, it has like this stone which feels like it takes 5 minutes, and it's just not fun to fight. Because while you're stunned, it's going around beating up on all your other boxes, and yeah, it's a really bad time. And I don't mind the stuns, you know, the bat stun, it's okay, it's a few seconds, but I don't know, the stone spider and it's 5 minutes stun, no, not happy with it, don't like it. You drop rubbish loot as well, spider. No, go away. Okay, now that I have been on my really long stone spider rant, it's time for me to get a little bit braver, and I decided to pull. Nothing wrong with being a camp ranger, hanging around at the camp and tanking, but I know this camp really well. I come to it quite a lot, and sometimes it's fun just to go to the different areas and control the pace of the group, which is what you get when you are pulling, and it's something that I quite enjoy. And again, it kind of adds to the versatility of the ranger class. And you know, right now, yeah, we got 2 LDCs, but for this group, that's very manageable. So I've been here for a few hours then at this point. we got the message that the hole was open now, so I thought, you know what, it's late, I'm gonna have a rest, come back completely refreshed and ready to dive into the hole on Otis. So a couple of hours after my break, came back, got a group pretty quickly actually, another pickup group with a bunch of people from different guilds, and we met up at the entrance to the hole and decided to kind of work our way down. And you know, first week of the hole, everywhere's really busy, right? So it was all about trying to find a camp that was open, and we found that the docks were open in this camp. The docks is a really good camp. It's one of the better camps in the hole. There's lots of golems though, so you kind of have to be ready for that. It's one of the more popular spots, and it kind of overlooks where Yale spawns as well, so it's a nice little area and it's relatively safe. But getting down there is a long way, and you know, if you're just a single player running down to like replace someone, it can be a challenge, because you either have to hope that all the mobs are down and there's nothing that sees in biz, or you're going to be running and dying close to the group so they can res you, which, you know, is easier to do these days because of FTE. Even if you train through, you know, the mobs aren't going to engage anybody else and you're not going to get any trouble for that. But one of the other good things is about clearing down as a group is you're getting experience, which is what we're here for. And by the time we got to the camp, I'd already dinged level 44 just from the mobs that we killed on our way down, which is awesome. And we know there's actually a lot of decent, well, there is some decent loot that can drop in the hole, and it can drop on pretty much anything. But for us right now, kind of anything's an upgrade. Whether we get a smoldering brand, or we see the bow, and I never saw the bow drop for me. The hole is a lot of fun, you know, a lot of high level mobs, really good for magicians because you can use all those anti-elemental nukes, and I think druids get them as well, so you know, there's that little bit of extra power. There's tons of mobs that you can charm as well, like crusaders at this point, because none of the enchanters have a lure to charm a golem. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it is a camp at docks, which can be high risk, high reward. You know, one bad pull and you could have 3 golems, and that's very difficult for any group to deal with. But if you watch my other videos, especially those tier makers I've done in Classic, I kind of always talk bad about rangers, and this is my first time kind of playing one, so it was actually really interesting in Classic to see that I could pretty much tank anything. Yeah, those golems are way higher level than me, and they hurt, but I'm actually really good at holding aggro. I can pull aggro, you know, using Flame Lick, and I can take a fairly decent beating. I mean, yeah, the caster, the healer, might be using a little bit more mana than they would if I was an SK or a warrior, because I'm a little bit softer, but I was holding my own, and it was actually kind of a really fun experience to tank on a class that isn't a warrior or isn't a shadow knight, both of which I've done before. So I put in several hours into this group. It was fairly static, all the people stuck around, which is always nice. You know, it's good value to use a pot in these kind of situations. When you've got a group that's just chugging along, going really well, you know, you want to make sure you're using that pot. The worst thing you can do with pots is use it and then the group immediately breaks apart, or people leave, and then, well, you'll start with a 3-hour 30-minute pot and you're out of zoning with the LFG tag on. In those situations, I'd always recommend to people start your own groups whenever you're in that situation. And I'd say this group went really well. We had no real difficulty. We had a bard pull-in, an enchanter that was on point with the mezzes and the charms, and I was either like tanking myself or in some cases letting the charm pet take a few beatings for me as well. And yeah, really good experience. Didn't take long, and I was already kind of halfway through 44. Really good group. But as I said, everything's going really well, and I ended my time with this group at level 45. So the next day I'm come along and I'm at the camp called Castle Entrance. Now, a lot of people don't like this camp quite as much because there's more lower level mobs, there's not as many golems, but on the flip side you're killing faster, so you're getting through mobs faster. So even though they might be lower level, you're killing more of them, and that can make up. And there are still the golems that path through. It's a relatively safe camp, but you just have to be mindful of the moments that come out, like the golem and a few of the elementals. But otherwise you've got a big wide area to pull all good mobs outside and inside as well. And as you can see, we're still getting high level golems, and as much as I can I'm trying to let the pet tank them, but you know, as a tank sometimes I just want to let it hit me, right, rather than the charm pet. But we had like I said, really solid group. PayPal's, we had a monk, we had Bloodshot the Necro. It was a really good group, and we were flying through the levels here. Yeah, we had a lot of mobs on extended target, but we were on point on getting them locked down with the Enchanter, but also the Necro helping out as well. Sometimes those clutch Screaming Towers can really help and make the difference. And we're just plowing through these mobs as well, absolutely having no problem whatsoever in killing all of them. And it was a really good group. And like I said, I've always been a bit funny with castle entrance as a spot to kind of XP at, because there are those blues and light blues. I'm like, oh, is it the spot I want to go to? You know, will I get good XP here? But I think with the right group and the good puller, you're gonna make up for any weaknesses. And you know, the cleric quality was on point as well, because it's always really important to have a solid cleric in a group, especially when they are healing a squishy ranger tank against these golems. So I'm level 48, and like I said all the way through, I haven't turned down a single group request really. If I was LFG and someone said, hey, do you want to come here, I went. And I was invited to a group over on Goblin Island. Now, if I don't know, this is typically where you get level 50 before the hole opens, but it still kind of remains decent. I hadn't done this for a long time, to be honest, this camp, but we had a group that was probably far from optimal, I would say, because we had like 3 necros in this group, right? So okay for clutch CCs, but these mobs you have to be really careful with, because they're buffed with like soul and all these kind of stuff, and if you don't dispel and snare them, they will take off, and the pathing is really bad. So you know, if they take off, you're going to be getting 4, 5, 6 of these goblins coming back at you. This group, if I'm honest, it was a challenge for me. I was a really big struggle. We weren't killing kind of optimally with 3 necros. You know, we were far from an optimal group, and I mean, that doesn't bother me. You know, sometimes it's fun to do things a little bit differently, but in this case it didn't end up going well. As you can see, very quickly we were 4 mobs on us, because we had a runner, and you know, without any like real CC, you know, we had Root and we had the Necro CC, but they're running off, they're getting more mobs, and these guys sprint, so very quickly you're gonna get overwhelmed if you accidentally let one go. We were trying our best, we were killing them, you know, with 3 Necro pets and me tanking, right, and just having a shaman for heals. But as you see, the health bars are going down, and you know, at this point sometimes the writing's on the wall. You know, I'm at 26%. We've still got 2 other mobs in camp. Hopeful we get up, and there's another one now, so we're up to 3. Doing what we can do to heal. I'm trying to heal myself. These are buffed to beyond and back, and yeah, don't know what I can do in this case. We're gonna try though. But now we're up to 4. It's not looking good. And the shaman, yeah, the shaman's struggling for health. He goes down, I think, really quickly, and bails on the group, and I don't hold that against anyone, right? You know, he's got low health aggro. We're in the middle of nowhere on this island. You know, it's far from anywhere, and it's not going well. So I don't begrudge anyone a bail in this kind of situation. And yeah, real challenge. But you know, I don't turn down a group, even if it's a crazy group with 3 necros. But I decided to kind of stick it out, right? So we had a bunch of people quit, but we got some kind of other people to join and come out to this island, and it went a lot better. Mainly because we didn't have 3 necros anymore. We had someone pulling, which means I could focus on tanking. So it went actually pretty decently here. Once we got in our groove. Now, normally at this camp you would charm the great big stinking lizard, the Aliwazi, Zor, whatever it's called. Normally that's what you'd charm for these, because it just minces through these goblins. No enchanter again, so we don't have that. So it's kind of just me and a whole bunch of randoms just trying to, you know, get our XP against a whole lot of blue corn goblins. And again, we're not an ideal group, so the XP probably isn't optimal, but don't turn down any group offers. So by this point I've been with this group now for a few hours, and the XP's moving. It's not great though, because we don't have that charm pet that you really need to make this camp super viable, but I'm sticking it out. I've got my level 48, but you know, it's getting to that point where I think it's time to call it a break and see what else I can get when I come back. So where did I get level 50? Actually in a place, one, I've never been to before to XP, and I would never expect to. And I, you know, was looking for a group. I got my last level to go, level 49. You know, where do I end up? In the bear caves under Vox in permafrost. Like, I've never come here before, and when I got the group invite, it was from a group of people from the Golden Roosters, another guild on Oakwynd. I was the only person not in the guild. I thought, okay, that's different. I've never been there to XP. Obviously I've killed these bears a bunch, when sometimes they get pulled when you're doing Vox and stuff, but yeah, I've never fought to XP here. And it was actually fairly solid, to be honest. I was very, very surprised at how much XP I was getting, and that's probably because of the modifier for permafrost to give more XP. And again, I'm guessing all these the group members I was with are probably chatting away on Discord, so I'm at a bit of a disadvantage because I'm not. And but even so, it went pretty well. There were a few minor incidents. I think I may have died once. When there was a big pull, because these bears can, you know, chuck out some pretty meaty damage when they want to, and they can take a little bit to kill. But the yeah, what a weird camp to come to. Never thought I'd end up here, but it is probably a camp I'll come back to again. It's out of the way, no one's going to bother you here, no one, you know, can really see you. You've got to go through the whole zone to kind of get here. And it was actually like a little bit fun and something a little bit different. So certainly something I would consider if I'm getting to level 50. But like right now I'm in big trouble, and there I go. So the charm pet broke, I got low health aggro, and it absolutely destroyed me. Not really an awful lot I could have done in that situation, because my health just dropped ridiculously fast. All's good though, I got a quick res, and as you see the charm pet's chasing the enchanter. That's pretty funny. The enchanter's trying to create some distance so we can get a route in and we can get it mezzed and recharmed, but this charm pet is an absolute beast and it's really scary. So I'm almost level 50 now, but it's getting so late. And been killing these spiders and bears for quite some time. I'm kind of losing track of time. It's getting really late and I'm getting super tired. But fortunately for me, it did not take very long for this to happen. Oh, that felt so good. The level 50 ding, and then the achievement pop. There it goes. So I'm like, I'm done, finally, I've got a perk, I don't need any more XP right now. But I'm not one to bail, and there was someone that needed a couple more kills to get to level 50, and then another one, somebody else that needed 5 or 6 more. So I'm like, yeah, I'll stick around. I'm super tired, but I'll stick around and help you get there. We don't want to end on a note like that and be like, level 50, origin, yoink, I'm out of here. No, I stuck around and helped for a little bit longer, like 15-20 minutes, and then took off by origining back to Kelethin. So there you have it, level 50. How many of you out there would have guessed I hit it in permafrost of all places? I bet not a single person would have said TBC level 50, you'll get that in permafrost, because I would never have got that ever. Never have I ever really leveled there before or done XP there, so it was something new and exciting. And you know what, that's what this leveling experience has been like for me. Never turning down a group, not having a static along the way, just purely doing it through pickup groups as a single character, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you if you've been out there and you group with me during my path to level 50. Really do appreciate it, and it was a lot of fun. Now I am going to have obviously the leveling that I do going into Kunark, you know, probably going to be a lot of Chardok, but we'll see. I'm a big fan of Chardok, but we'll see. Who knows where I end up or what I'll be doing. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like and subscribe. Like I said, I got plenty more videos coming this way very, very soon, and as ever, I am the Brit Canuck, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.